Hey, you guys, it's your girl Chi-Town Blue here. Listen, I want to give you guys a heads up on this is basically shock value. I'm going to do this video first, and it's on behalf of the Key Essence Expressions Publishing slash Multimedia Division. This is what's going on. Okay, I went yesterday to go to the dentist's office. And what they do is they have you come in. If you're with somebody, they won't let you come in at the same time. You guys have to kind of go in one at a time. And they have the place where you check in. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to put a thermometer, to your forehead to test your temperature. Okay, your power is to ask what that number is. Get them to justify the temperature for two reasons. One, if anything happens and they try to say that, this is COVID, whatever, you can come back and say, well, this is not what was said to me. In the beginning, this is what the number was. So if something ever comes up in the future, you know exactly what the number was. And you have every right to ask that. They'll ask you to wear a facial mask. They'll ask you to sanitize your hands. And then in the office I was in, all of the offices had plastic in front of them. So, and then they ask you to step back. They have the X's on the floor and things of that nature. That way you guys know in advance what to expect. The little things do make a difference. Ask those people for the numbers. If you have somebody else that you're going in there with, look at that person's number. Let them know, hey, look, ask what the number was. Because whatever that number was, again, if something comes back later, you'll have that notion of this is what was said when my temperature was first taken. You need to have that. You need to have that. And don't leave your health to anybody else. And so I went through the whole process of getting my tooth removed in the back. And it came out in 3 pieces, whatever. Went into this other room that was sanitized as well. Even when it came to making the payment, they have you stand in the floor, where the X's are to let you know how close to come and things of that nature. So I want people to just know what to expect before you go in there. It's very important. That's the experience that I had going to the dentist's office. And I'm grateful that they took the extra precautions. But my power is to know what that number is. Know what your temperature number is when you go through the door. They are mandated to give you that information. That's your power. To say, hey, look, what is that number? And then if you're with somebody else, look at that number. Because that number, that makes a difference in that temperature number. Because they can't come back and say, oh, well, you are COVID-19 when your temperature was only 91.6. Like, really? Take that power back. And with them having to give you that, and all of your receipts for the transactions that were done, keep them. Keep them. What you went in to get a procedure for, keep that information. All of that information needs to be stored someplace. That way, that's your power to say, this is what I went in for. Just in case something comes up later on. Keep that information. It's vital to your taking the power back in your health. Don't give that over to nobody. It's your power. So they can't come back and say, oh, well, you're a good candidate. Well, how am I if my temperature is only 91.6? And then her temperature was a 93.8. Look at that. Tag team with each other. Look out for each other. That's important because that's what they gauge on whether or not they label you COVID-19 or not, is your temperature, how high your temperature is. And they periodically check your pulse and everything, check your temperature throughout the procedure, whatever it is that you're going in for. They periodically check that. Keep notation of that number. Keep it. Those little things mean a difference in this game. So I ask details. I do. I do. So I just want to leave you guys with that. I'm going to come back with a lot more shock value this week. It was very important that we look at next Mr. Aubrey. And I'm going to really get into detail about what I saw today, which is something of value to everybody else. So hopefully this doctor portion of it, you guys know what to look for when you guys go in, depending on what you got, what type of service that you need. be it medical or dental, you'll have that experience as well, and it won't be such a shock. That way you can, know ahead of time what to expect when you go in. So I love you guys. Part 2 is coming back. Take care.